All right. Now, for those of you that don't know, I just did a cartoon on school punishments from back in the day. You know, like when we had to write stuff on the chalkboard over and over again until our hands went numb. Remember that? That was a real rootin' tootin' time, wasn't it? Well, after doing that episode, it got me thinking about other aspects of my school days that may or may not be a thing anymore. Like, for example, coat rooms. Are those still a thing? Do they exist? You see, I went to one of those old-ass public schools back in the day that looked like a fucking King Koopa castle from Super Mario Brothers. And all those old-ass schools had a separate coat room attached to the classroom where you'd hang all your shit up at. We didn't have any of those stupid-ass little cubbies that they use nowadays. All right, little children, let's put our mittens away in our little cubbies, shall we? No, back in my day, you put your shit in the coat room because your teacher didn't want to look at your stupid-ass, obnoxious Angry Beavers book bag. Put it away. Go. But the cool thing about the coat room was that was the place where all the shady shit would go down when you were a kid. Like if you had Pokemon cards to trade before class or a fucking Newport menthol to smoke, well, you did that shit in the coat room where the teacher couldn't see you. Hell, I've seen entire fucking fist fights go down in the coat room. I seen a kid catch a missile drop kick to the teeth, and then 5 minutes later, he was sitting at his desk taking a spelling test. Not to mention the time where a kid took a piss inside of the coat room, and we all got to go outside again for a bonus recess while the janitor cleaned that shit up. What a fucking time to be alive. You definitely can't pull that shit off with a fucking cubby. You're asked to catch a indecent exposure charge. So what I'm saying is bring back the coat rooms, all right? They're fucking cool. Hashtag fuck cubbies. Now, another thing that seems to be disappearing from schools these days is having your own desk. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it sure seems like schools these days just throw a bunch of tables and chairs in there for kids to sit at. And I think that's a pretty big mistake because having your own desk was part of your identity back then. That was your desk. That was your little piece of the classroom. Don't touch my desk, goddammit. I pay the property tax on this motherfucker. Go, get away. Don't even look at it. Hell, your desk was basically an extension of your student self. Like if you got in trouble in class, chances are your teacher would send you and your desk out in the hallway as a punishment. Why are you sitting out here? Because me and my desk were being obnoxious little assholes during a spelling test, that's why. Now, how orderly you kept your desk depended a lot on if you were a little boy or if you're a little girl. Because little girls tended to be cleaner and a little bit more organized. They'd have like all their books neat and orderly. All their Lisa Frank folders would be in rainbow order and shit. But then you check out a little boy's desk and holy hell, that shit would look like an active crime scene. There'd be shit crammed in there all haphazard like. There'd be like a fucking half-eaten moldy Pop-Tart sitting there, a dead hamster in the corner and shit. You didn't know what the fuck you were gonna find in a little boy's desk. That shit would look like a goddamn I Spy book from back in the day. I spy with my little eye 6 boogers and 9 toenail clippings. Gross. Fucking sick. But hey, it was your desk. You got to keep it how you wanted it. Hashtag fuck tables and chairs. Okie dokie. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is student graders. You remember back in the day when your whole classroom would get finished with like a science quiz or something, and your teacher would be sitting there like, well, I don't feel like grading your guys' bullshit right now. Everybody pass your paper to your neighbor and pull out a red pen. I'm going to read off the answers, and you guys are going to grade your own shit. Well, having students grade papers could be a good thing, or it could suck ass completely. Like if you were grading one of your friends' papers, instead of marking something wrong, maybe instead you'd change their dumbass answer and penciled in the right one. And then maybe, you know, at lunchtime they gave you their chocolate milk, and it was a win-win for everybody. But then the other side of the coin is, you'd have somebody like Natasha's fucking forthright goody two-shoe ass grading your test, and she'd be like, nope, fucking wrong. Photosynthesis isn't the first layer of the atmosphere, you stupid asshole. You suck, -2 points. You suck ass, Natasha, with your always by the book ass. I hope you get head lice again, like you did last winter, you fucking narc. But hey, you win some and you lose some. Student graders were still the shit. Hashtag fuck Natasha. All right, now there's one last little thing that I want to talk about today, and that, of course, is pencil sharpeners. Or more specifically, the pencil sharpener. You know, the one that was at the front of the classroom, bolted to the fucking wall so nobody could steal it. Is that still a thing these days? Are there still kids in this day and age that go up to that pencil sharpener in the middle of a quiz and just sharpen the shit out of their pencil for like 45 minutes straight? Like, you're sitting there trying to focus. You're fucking up your science quiz 6 ways to Sunday and shit. But that little asshole just keeps on going, because every time he pulls out his pencil, it would look like this shit right here, which would just repeat the cycle over and over again. Eventually, your teacher just snaps, and she's like, fucking sit down, Eric. God damn it. That's enough. You get a 0 on your quiz. If you can't sharpen a goddamn pencil, well, it's probably safe to say you don't know shit about the atmosphere. You suck, you get an F. Look, I don't know if the pencil sharpener is still a thing, but God, I hope it is. What a time to be alive. Hashtag fuck mechanical pencils. All right, so those are just some of the things that I wanted to talk about today. And really, I could just go on and on and on about certain shit. I mean, I didn't even talk about the fucking Pizza Hut Book It program, for Christ's sake. You know, when they used to give us personal pan pizzas for reading 5 Frog and Toad books. Neat, cool, all right. So if you guys want to hear more, or if you have any suggestions, why don't you drop a comment down below, or don't, I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. The end.
Brewstew.com